Hey guys, Nikki here. My husband and I tried to take our toddler on a really fun Father's Day outing today. We got about 45 minutes from home and my toddler barfed all over her car seat. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to actually clean your car seat because it's a little challenging if you've never done it before. And I personally tend to need a refresher whenever I do this myself. And I thought I would share that with you guys as well. Before we get started though, I just wanted to say a few things that made this whole ordeal a little bit easier. First, we keep a roll of paper towels in the car, an extra pack of baby wipes, and also an empty grocery bag for trash. So we were able to get the absolute worst of the mess off of the car seat while we were, pulled over. It was obviously still wet. It still smells horrible, even with the cover off, as you can see here. But it made it just kind of doable to get home. One thing that made this difficult is we didn't have an extra outfit on hand for our daughter. So I went into the gas station, got an extra large adult t-shirt that is now going to be designated as our family barf shirt. She's really excited about it. Threw that on her once we had gotten her all cleaned up. And that made it so she had something to wear while we were riding home. And it also was a buffer from kind of the wetness of the car seat. And I also got 2 of those like tree-shaped air fresheners. They are super strongly scented, and that really helped mask the smell for my husband and I so that we didn't get sick on the ride home. So now getting into how to actually clean your car seat. I filmed taking off all of the soft pieces here, but I realized afterwards that my camera focus was all out of whack. So unfortunately, I can't show that to you in detail. I will be careful about walking you through how to reassemble it. So obviously taking off the cover is just the reverse of that, and putting it on is much more difficult than taking it off. The biggest things that you need to know for taking off the cover is you just want to loosen all the pieces that you can, and at least on the Graco car seats, you have to look for these little bungee cords and hooks. And some of them are going to be plastic hooks that are actually a part of your car seat, and some are going to be metal hooks like if you're a girl, like you would have on some of like your dresses or other clothes to help keep them closed. It's really not a hard process to take it off. All we did there is we took everything off, and then we're gonna throw it in the washing machine on a delicate cycle. All right, so we're gonna wash all of the soft parts of this car seat. And again, the biggest thing that I saw online is that you need to use the delicate cycle, but it looks like your normal laundry detergent is totally fine. So that's what we're gonna do here. I'm not gonna stain treat anything because I know that the harsher chemicals you use, the more likely you are to do damage on the car seat. So I'm gonna wash this first as is. If for some reason after we wash it, we still have a big smell, or if there's a big stain, then I will cross that bridge when I get to it. Obviously you can do this indoors. I am just choosing to do it outside because it's a nice day and it's just a little bit less messy. Now I've got a bucket, which is helpful, but a kitchen bowl or something like that would totally work if you don't have a bigger bucket. I'm using some Dawn dish soap. I'm not even exactly measuring this. I'm just putting some in the bucket and then gonna fill it with water. Now we get to the hardest part, in my opinion, which is scrubbing down the straps. Now I have my bucket of water here that we filled up a few minutes ago. I actually went ahead and threw in, it's hard to see them, but like the buckle and the clip pieces, just to let them soak and try to get some of the grime out. They're gonna get naturally tousled around here as I'm putting my cloth in and out. But this might actually be too soapy. Yeah, this is too soapy. I'm gonna go add some water. All right, so here we go. What I tend to do is take like a face cloth or some other kind of cloth that you might have at home. Dip it in your water, squeeze it out, that way it's not too wet. And then really what you wanna do is just start rubbing it on the straps. I like to focus primarily first on the areas that have a lot of visible gunk. But in this particular case, I actually don't have a ton that's super visible. So what I'm gonna be doing is scrubbing it along the way and then kind of doing a sniff test to see how bad it still smells. And then what I've learned in the past is like generally one time scrubbing it down doesn't always get the smell out. So I'll do this whole thing and then let it dry a little bit. Come back, smell everything, see where I need to kind of go over it all again. So this can kind of be an on and off process over the course of like an hour or two, but it does seem to work in the long run in getting the smell out. And again, you really want to try to avoid totally soaking the straps if you can, just because it's not good for them long term. Also, don't forget that sometimes like your car seat anchor straps will get some of the barf grossness as well. So even if they weren't like directly in the line of fire, it doesn't hurt to kind of clean those as well, at least initially. Same thing with this little strap that tends to tighten their harness. This has been the source of some smelliness too in past incidents. We really try to avoid washing our car seat unless it's absolutely necessary. So if we have like a really big spill or if we have an incident like this, our car seat generally stays pretty clean because we don't allow our daughter to eat in it. We do let her drink liquids like milk or water in there. We may change that after this trip because we think the milk might have contributed to the barf. But in terms of snacks, we don't let her do that because if she were to choke on something, it would be really hard to get back there fast enough to try to help her. But again, I've noticed from my friends that do allow their kids to eat in car seats, ours tends to get a lot less dirty because there's just not crumbs or other grime in there. All right, this might be good as a first pass. All right, so we're gonna let this thing sit out here in the sun for a little bit just to dry out. Because again, we'll have a better sense of if we got the smell out once these are a little drier. And I'm sure we're also getting to the point where I need to take my car seat soft pieces out of the wash and let them air dry. All right, moment of truth. Let's see. I feel like this could maybe use another wash. I'm gonna get a little bit of the extra gunk off that still seems kind of caught in the crevices with a paper towel before I run it again. It's really just that big piece that still has like a lingering smell, but just to be safe, I'm gonna run it all through the wash one more time on delicates and then let it all dry. All right, these smell so much better and they are so much cleaner. So we're just gonna put them over here to dry. And I usually let these dry overnight. All right, so it's been about a day since I started cleaning this car seat. I finally got the smell out of the seat belts. Now I will say, I scrubbed these a few more times off camera, the same method that I showed you guys when I first filmed it, but only in the spots that really smelled. It took me about 4 times of scrubbing it to fully get the smell out, but now it seems like it's in good shape. So now we're gonna do my least favorite part, which is putting the whole thing back together. I swear I do this in the wrong order every time. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys the correct order that will minimize the time it takes for you to do this. Also, I'm outside, so like don't mind the plane or the road noises or the birds. This is life. So again, I am obviously assembling this Graco Extend2fit car seat. Yours is not going to be the exact same, but you'll want to look at kind of what pieces layer on top of one another. So for mine, this bottom piece is the first one that I'm going to want to put on. It's got all of the holes for the seatbelt straps and like the buckle that goes near her like crotch area. And then the top piece fits on top of that. So you're going to want to evaluate that on your own car seat before you start trying to assemble it. So one thing I'm going to start with is moving the headrest up because I think it's easier to actually hook on this bottom piece when it's raised. And really here, you just want to tuck all of these into the right places. I'm going to hold off on doing the cup holders because I need to actually feed all the straps through these holes. Now I'm going to get these straps through. So first and foremost, I want to make sure that this like crotch buckle is in the right hole. And then you need to do your regular seat belts, and those are going to go through these other holes kind of on the side. Also, note that I did not put the straps and buckles on here yet because it won't fit through the holes if you have them on. This is also a good time to take note of where your little bungees and your hooks are. So in this car seat, I have a hook right here, and I have a bungee cord right here. So I know I'm gonna have to hook those when I am ready to actually anchor this down. And now I can pull this over the little cup holders. You want to make sure all of these little pieces are tucked over the little plastic parts that they go over. So let's take a look at our first little bungees that we need to do. I have this little bungee cord and I've got a hook right here. Now, the bungee cord is actually going to have to go through a hole that is right back here. I'm going to try to get even closer for you. Now, I raised this to put on this piece and I'm actually going to lower it to make sure that I can get a good access to that bungee hole. If you're having trouble getting something through one of the holes, try adjusting your car seat because, again, I've just done this enough times to know where, like what positions things need to be in order to make my life easier. All right, so hopefully you can see this well, but there is this little hole here, and that is where my bungee cord is gonna go. So I'm gonna take it, again, it's this little thing up here, and we're gonna feed it through that hole. All right, so I've got it here. It's gonna get hooked around right there. Same thing on the other side. All right, so again, here's my little bungee cord on this side. This always takes way more effort than it should. All right, see now it's hooked in there good. So this piece, this top part is good. Now I still need to hook the bottom part. So remember how I said take note of where your little bungee cords and hooks are? So this is my bungee cord from the front, and it's gonna go on a hook that is all the way in here. I'm gonna try to get a closer view, but it's gonna be a little tough. So what I'm gonna do is take my little bungee cord, tuck it in between these two plastic pieces, and hook it right in there. It helps to kind of push your hand from the inside of the car seat to help pop that hook out to make sure you get it tight. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this side. And this is also a good time to make sure that all of your little pieces like this are tucked around all of the appropriate plastic parts on your car seat. And actually I need to tuck this part over this plastic piece, but this is the part that tightens and loosens your car seat. You want to make sure that this is threaded through this little part of the seat cover. That way you can access everything. Also, if your car seat anchors got a little messed up in this process, make sure you tuck them through to the other side. All right, so this bottom piece is looking good. So your next step here is going to be dealing with your seat belts. You need to put your clips and your buckles back on the seat belts and then thread them through these holes in the back right here. I'll get a close-up of those when we're actually putting them on. And then your last step is going to be putting all of your other comfy stuff back on. So each side of your car seat is going to have a clip as well as a buckle piece. Now, you're probably going to know from buckling in your kid which way this goes. So this side that says Graco Baby is going to be my left side. This one's going to be my right side. I'm going to put them in the appropriate cup holders. Same thing here with your buckle. Match them up together. Put them in the appropriate cup holder. Now, this is where it gets a little bit trickier. So your seat belt, you want to think about how your baby is actually going to sit in it. So my baby is going to sit here, and this piece I'm going to want to sit as flat as possible on her. So it's going to kind of go like this, and then eventually feed through this hole up here. So when my little clip goes on, I want to make sure that this buckle piece can actually point downward. So I think it's gonna go like this. Okay, so again, if she's sitting in it, it's gonna point downward. Your buckle piece is gonna go a little bit differently than what you initially think. You wanna kind of fold this up into a right angle and then thread your clip here. Okay? Then you're going to do the same thing with the other side. So for this next one, I intentionally put it on the wrong way because I want to show you guys a really good way to fix this issue. So as you can see, if I tried to buckle this on my daughter, it's going to be twisted, right? So I want to fix that. Now, all you have to do is fold the seatbelt over, kind of like this at an angle, and run the buckle through. And then now it's facing the right way where it's gonna lie flat on her leg. Now you can use this even when your child's already buckled into the car seat. This is the best way to fix those weird twisted seatbelt situations where you don't even know how it happened. All right, so I'm gonna quickly put this buckle on and then we're gonna feed the straps through these little holes. You kind of have to flatten this out with your fingers as you're pulling it through the hole. And I'm going to show you what it looks like from the other side. All right, so once you have your two straps back here, hang on. All right, so I'm actually really glad that I'm filming this because I made a great mistake that I'm sure other people have made. So you're gonna wanna hook these straps onto this little T-shaped metal piece. But if you accidentally pulled your like strap tightener really tight when you were taking everything apart, you may not see this piece right away. And I'm gonna show you where to find it. So way deep in here is the back side of that little button in the front that you use to tighten and loosen your car seat straps. So it's this little piece right here. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to find the underside of that button here in this car seat. So I had to reach really far in here and hold that button to pull this strap loose in order to access it. So again, no need to panic if you don't see this thing right away. It is still there and it is still attached to your car seat. All right, so I'm actually going to loosen this just a teensy bit more. And I'm going to take these and hook them onto each side of this metal buckle. Like everything else with car seats, sometimes this takes a second just to get everything in the right spot. Okay, there we go. All right, so now it's time to put the soft piece back on the top of the car seat. I'm going to lower this first though, just to make it a little easier. Also, I'm just gonna note, I've got more bungees right up here that I'm gonna have to deal with. I had a hard time at first when I tried to put this on when it was up, and again, just lowering it made it a lot easier. So if you're struggling with putting something on, change the settings before you start really trying to tug on something. There's probably an easier way to do it. Then you're gonna tuck your seatbelts into these little holes here until everything lies flat. Now, we don't have the little bottom insert on the car seat anymore because my toddler is too big for it, but this is when you would now attach that piece. All right, and then you're gonna take your little headrest piece and thread it through this top part. Now I've just gotta attach the little bungee cords to the hooks, and we're almost done. It's another one of the ones where you have a hole to thread things through and then a hook here, and the bungee cord is up front. But I always find these holes so hard to access. Like you gotta kind of get the bungee cord straight before you put it through. Just gonna put my other bungee cord here. All right, there you have it. Hey guys, Nikki from the future here. I forgot to show you one of the bungee and hooks that you're gonna need to hook. So it is located on the base of this headrest. So if you follow this headrest back, there's a little bungee and hook right there. And so again, on the other side, it is right here. So there you have it, a barf-free car seat. And this is also a good opportunity to double check your owner's manual that you have everything set up correctly. The last time I cleaned barf out of a car seat, I realized that we still had the bottom insert in here, and you're supposed to remove that when you're forward facing. So we all make mistakes like that. Just take the time when you're already cleaning everything and reassembling to make sure it's all correct. Also, if you enjoyed this video, check out this next one with my best toddler hacks. These have saved my sanity on a number of occasions, and I hope that they will help you as well. Thanks, and I'll see you in my next one.